Okay, yeah, so we have doors that are generally locked. Now our problem is we have 3 buildings here on campus, so for student passage from building to building, you have to have certain doors that are open because we don't have the pass cards or the proxy cards for all students. But we have door monitoring systems. We have 1 school resource officer, 1 school security officer. At times we have up to 2. Students do receive IDs, but we don't require them to display them. And we have essentially multiple entrances to campus too. So one of the problems of kind of our campus is that it's very spread out. It's hard to secure. Okay, well, we have a camera system, albeit rather outdated. We are also, and really this is probably a key point, is that our campus is adjacent to the middle school campus. So when I say we have 2 officers on campus here, reality is we've got 4 because there are 2 at the middle school as well. And they're able to, when we have unique things going on or students out of area, it's not uncommon to get a call or give a call to say, hey, we saw this. So those are 2 of the biggest points. Obviously, in the end, the biggest kind of our security thing is that we rely in part on students and staff letting us know, hey, if somebody you don't recognize them, they shouldn't be in the building, let us know immediately. And our students are really good about that. So we're lucky in that way. If that were a culture problem, then that's something we'd have to revisit differently. Well, it's interesting because as far as the school security officers are the ones that work for us, right, as administrators, and the sheriff's officers don't work for us. They're here to help us, obviously, but they don't follow kind of the same guidelines. So I think essentially we're saying 1 school security officer. It's not easy. I think officially we're assigned 2, but there's always the struggle of finding appropriate people for staffing. And when you're running short, they borrow, as I'm sure a lot of schools do, that they borrow to cover a school that doesn't have any support. So it's probably not totally adequate, because I think in an ideal world we'd have several people who have devoted all of their energy to maintaining a safe school. I think our students definitely feel safe, and I think a large part of that goes to the culture in the school. That, like I said, we have students who let us know almost always if there's a problem. So we have a lot of student reporting. We've thrown out there that they had the anonymous text line for a while. Nobody ever texted us, but it's not at all uncommon to have somebody come in and say, hey, down to something as petty as somebody smoking in the bathroom, or I heard there was going to be this fight. We have a culture that's really cooperative and generally, peaceful. So it makes it much easier to maintain a safe environment. It's difficult to find the balance between, my worst fear is a time that, we would have, a live shooter on campus, and I think that's everybody's worst fear. And I think that when you have a situation like that, when you imagine it and then you think about how to prevent it, well, then I want a fortress. I want a wall around campus, and I want armed guards, and I want cameras. But then we look at the fact that this is an educational environment, and you say, well, is that really conducive to our number 1 goal, which is our purpose is to educate students. And some of those practices that we would have in order to protect them might be antithetical to what we want to accomplish. So you got to find that balance, and it's not an easy thing. I think that, as more technology comes available and more resources come available, they can help with that. Every school system has a camera, or every school in the system has cameras now, but ours are antiquated, truthfully, if you can have antiquated video cameras, and that makes things difficult. So you want to find that balance. In the end, there's nothing that's going to make a school 100% safe, and that's the fear. I think about college campuses, and I love for my school to feel like a college campus. That students are kind of motivated to go around and go to their classes on their own, and we've seen those things. But at the same time, if you did that, and then you think about the shootings that have happened on college campuses, we know that's not an ideal environment. So it's about trying to find that balance.